Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 444 of the DrunkNerds podcast. And as always, I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Dude, I'll tell you what, this week has been hectic, but at the same time, reason why we're recording a little bit later as opposed to what our normal time is because my internet service provider had an outage yesterday, and it didn't last and get resolved until this morning. So, it is what it is. But regardless of which, everything else is going pretty good. How
Good.
about yourself, Tyler?
Doing all right. You know, it's Sunday night. Uh, I guess it's an okay night to fight. Oh, the German taco.
Yeah, he's having his little issues and stuff. For the listeners listening in, it's like my little dog does not want to go to sleep right at this moment in time, so yeah, it is what it is. But
Yeah,
let's
it's a
you were
little
saying
early for
there.
him. We're recording a little early for us. Um, late a day, but early for us time wise. Oh, look at the little baby. Look
For
at the
those in the
little
stream,
baby.
yeah, this is my little guy.
Yeah, he's a little German taco. Did you give him his burrito today?
No, but he gets little hot dogs though. These little
Noise.
hot dogs, those little things from that same maker that does the sausages and stuff like that.
Know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, Louis is a big fan as well. He is. I don't know where my dog is. He's around here somewhere. Probably doing something he's not supposed to be doing. Look, he's just a cutie pie. I just wanna. Can you just mail him to me so I can have him?
Oh, well, good luck with that because the moment you stick your hand in there, he's gonna try to bite it off.
That's fine. It's worth it. It's a good way. It's a good way to lose that hand. It's like I was to say I was rescuing a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing all right though. You know, it is. It's Sunday night. You know, it's whatever. It's Sunday nights suck, but it's it's just like it's hard to enjoy them because it's like I'm not working right now. I didn't have to work today,
Yeah.
so I feel okay, but mentally it's just like fuck. I gotta go to bed at a decent time. I gotta get up fucking early tomorrow. Tomorrow's my early day, but it's also my long day of the week. So
Yeah.
makes Sunday nights even more dreadful. But other than that, I'm glad you got your internet back. That sucks. That
Yeah. I know, right?
was it like a few weeks ago that your entire town lost power for like a few hours, and then now your entire town loses internet. God damn, he's so cute.
I know my entire town loses its internet thing. Hey, we're rambunctious little guy. It loses it for like a good solid day. I mean, roughly. I mean, originally the TV and the phone line came back like around 9 something at night, but the internet was not resolved until like around like fucking 9 or 10 this morning.
Yeah. For audio listeners, Gables is holding his doggo, and every time he talks, he like smacks him in the mouth. He's like, "No, less talky, more petty."
Well, yeah, that's that's Chico in a nutshell because what he does is like it doesn't matter whether I'm playing the game or watching a video or if someone else is like talking with me or something like that, he'll get in my face. He'll just do like his little things that he's doing right now, which is trying to nudge me around, and it's like
Yeah, he's like, "Love me, not
he's like,
only me."
"Love me."
Yeah, it's like my dog when I'm like sitting there, I'm literally just petting him, watch TV, but he's like pushing himself into me more. He's
Yep.
like, "You're not loving me enough." I'm like, I got two hands petting you. My sole attention is on petting you, and you're not happy.
Well, the thing about this little guy, like for one, his name is Chico, and
Mm-hmm.
two, he's has a bad case of separation anxiety. So it's like I cannot leave for a good I cannot leave the house for more than like say 5 or 10 minutes before coming back and him just reacting like I've been gone for like a full day.
Yeah, I believe me. I had to take my dog over to my parents' house when I go to work every morning because he does
Oh,
not. I go to if I have to go to the store after work on Fridays before I pick him up because if I go to the store, even though I'm gone 30 minutes, he barks and freaks out the entire time. So I understand.
oh yeah.
So believe me, I get it. I get it. We love our dogs, but they're a handful and a half. Well, for Gables, it's two handfuls.
Oh
But
yeah, of course, two handfuls.
yeah. Um, there's no good way to like get into this, um, to segue into it or out of it really. But I figure it's just something we should just try to just talk about it because I don't want it to like be in the middle of the show. I don't want it to end our show. But it's some really awful news coming out of Activision Blizzard. You and I were talking about before
Yeah,
the show, Gables. Um, And we were like, we've heard a lot of cases, and normally sometimes we just don't really talk about it too often because for me it's just always like people are gonna say it better elsewhere, and it's like we are two white guys on the internet, like we're not in the game industry. I mean, but this kind of shit doesn't just happen in the game industry, but it's like when you, but it's like obviously like with the industry, like that with video games stuff like that, like they're a little more public than we are for our normal 9 to 5s. These people have a
Yeah.
little more say. There's a little more communication, internet, things like that. Stuff they talk about kind of comes a little more public. Not just video games, but I mean, in our world of like doing a podcast about video games, this stuff kind of stands out, especially for what we pay attention. But we've seen a lot of bullshit come up lately. We've seen the stuff that happened. Just who fuck Insomniac. There was a case that came out from a woman. Then there's obviously all the shit with Ubisoft that happened
Yeah.
last year. That was awful, and like they're doing these Ubisoft forwards, but like as the shit's happening and just like ignoring it and like posting things beforehand, and then when they get to the thing, not talking about it at all and just glossing over it as these investigations and all the shit's going on. And then you hear then like the director of Assassin's Creed Origins got fired last year because he was using his position as a Assassin's Creed director to sleep with fans of the series and using that to his advantage, and like just all kinds of awful shit coming out of it, and way more shit than that. But this one just kind of like it. I mean, they're all bad. Don't get me wrong. This one though, the shit we're hearing about Activision Blizzard is takes the cake, man.
Yeah. It's on
We,
another level.
yeah. So I read the initial like stuff that I think Jason Schreier initially posted online, and I just kind of read some of that, and then I was like listening to other people talk about it and their tweets about it, and listening to podcasts, and just more and more awful shit going on where not only were like women getting passed over on promotions when they were like comparing to other people in their positions were doing twice as much or had closed more accounts or done more way more, but they weren't getting positions. I'm not laughing at this. I'm laughing at Gable's dog booping him on the nose.
Oh, for the listeners at home and stuff, I understand like the seriousness of like the whole
Yeah,
like allegations and stuff like that. It's just my dog is predominantly going through and scratching my face and booping
yeah,
my nose just to make sure I give him plenty of attention.
yeah. No, it's fine. It was just funny though. He's like bopping nose staring. Sorry about that, people, but I could not. If you would have seen it, whether you're watching us live or watching us right now on YouTube, or watching us later on YouTube, you'll understand. But just all getting past over promotions, not getting equal pay for their jobs. Obviously, if you've been at a job for 10 years and this other person's been there for 1 year, that person's
Right.
been there 10 years, obviously making more money. That's fine. But it's like when you're in the same footing, same tenure, or even the woman's been there longer and they're getting paid less than this dude over here. And then you hear about like the males in the office were doing uh, cubicle crawls and just like crawling through cubicles with women in them and talking
Basically
about,
frat boy shit.
yeah, like it's just frat boy culture. Like California is suing them. This isn't just like women coming out in allegations. This is
This is the
you're
state of
being sued.
California.
You're being sued by California. You're being sued by the government. This is a multi-year investigation. Um, this isn't just some women coming out on the internet talking about it, which I mean it's unfortunate that I mean whether they did or it just didn't get as much steam or what, but it sucks that it had to come to this. But it's just awful. Like I said, there's a frat boy shit, like guys going around doing the cubicle crawls and drinking, and then they're making women do their work while they go play Call of Duty. They're kicking women out of the lactation rooms to do meetings while they're in the middle of not breastfeeding, but I don't know what lactating, I guess. I don't know the proper term for that. Hopefully I'm right on that one. But like there was a woman that was 8 months pregnant, and she was reprimanded for going to the bathroom too many times,
Oh,
and then had to be
brother.
hospitalized for dehydration.
There's
Um,
incidences with coke in the bathroom and all the other shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
hard substances in the bathroom.
guys drinking out on the job, which I mean, there's some jobs that allow that, but if they're just doing that normally, that's pretty fucking shitty. I mean, that's just like some of the more, you know, not like that's not even the worst part of it. Like there's so
Let's see.
much worse. Like going on taking females on work trips and the guys bringing sex toys with them, butt plugs and like I said, sex toys. There was the woman that at a Christmas party, like the woman they were like they had taken pictures of her. Not sure exactly what it led to, was like whether she slept with a coworker or what happened here, but like somehow they got some nude pictures of her and were passing them around at a Christmas party, and then the woman ended up committing suicide over it. Just I mean, this is the worst of the worst. Like worst of the worst shit you've ever heard. Like,
Yeah,
and then this is
yeah.
mostly, it sounds like on the Blizzard side of things here, but it's like then there was the I don't know. I mean, the PR thing that came out about that they put out about it, kind of like roundabout way, like not so much fessing up to it. But I mean, I guess it's the PR thing. I don't know what to expect. Like, I doubt they're going to come out fully. And they're basically going to go to trial over this, so they don't want to just come out and say, yeah, all this happened, or they don't want to fully admit to everything. So I get like they have to cover their ass a little bit, but like I don't know, like a fucking apology would go somewhere, blaming like, oh, it's just bureaucratic, basically just saying bureaucratic bullshit. And then the internal email came out and basically just like completely um, saying none of this shit's true, or this shit happened years ago, or what. And it's like, so it's not true, but then also this shit happened years ago. It's old news. Man, like it's fucking terrible. Like I don't know. I mean, Gables, I've kind of dominated this. I mean, what was your thoughts? I mean, we know your thoughts, but kind of how you feeling on this?
Very serious allegations. Obviously, all of that was mentioned is horrible. That being said, the state of California is suing them on that grounds for the obviously that unethical like work field and that other types of things that are going on. We don't know everything. There could be more stuff that's going to come out potentially at the future court trial. I know the internal memo and stuff that that management had to the workers had a lot of their workers furious in that regards for a couple of because of a bunch of the non-factors. It's affected some of their games too, because even with big games that they have, like World of Warcraft, players are actually staging, and I've never heard this in my life though, actually staging protests in the game by just, you know, they're paying Activision Blizzard to play this game, right? But yet they are occupying certain levels, not doing anything. I
I'm
mean,
Yeah, it's weird, but I guess like if they've already paid for it for that year, month, whatever, they've already got the money. I guess I can see it. I've heard the big thing that they're protesting in World of Warcraft right now is the main guy that left last year.
yeah.
I don't know his name, but like he has two NPC characters named after him in the game, and I think that's the big thing they're protesting right now is they want
Oh, okay.
these two characters to be renamed in the game because he's like basically the main culprit, not the main culprit, but he's one of the main people behind all this shit going on.
Right, I wasn't aware of that, so that's interesting. That's a little bit of breaking news to me. But honestly, yes, a lot of this is serious. It's horrible if a lot of these allegations, with all these allegations and stuff like that. But I think this could be the tip of the iceberg, personally, because
Yeah.
it's like this court case once it goes into the state, and we get to learn a little bit more about the details of what's going to go on around this. So we could potentially see like a lot of ramifications happen in terms of maybe the work structure for Activision Blizzard. But I'm just speculating at this point. But yeah, long story short, it's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what, like, I'm sure there's like, I know a lot of times there's like a max penalty they can use on this. I don't know what they are, but I hope they get the max. I hope maybe they like, if there is a max, they fucking find a way to work around and make a new max. I don't know. NBA added super max contracts for players. Make a super max penalty for these fuckers. Um, I yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, and I know it's not. This isn't exclusively to video games. This shit happens everywhere. I know we've all like. I'm sure everybody's seen cases of like, shit like this in their workplace. But it's I don't know, for guys out here that maybe think it's not that big a deal. Like, I just think about like when we've all had that boss that's lazy, or like, oh, it's Friday, so I'm leaving at noon today, because I can. Or you just see your boss, like you're working your ass off, and you see your boss just sitting there on their phone dicking around all day. Think about
Oh
like
yeah,
think about how much that pisses you off. I don't know, times that by like, I don't know, 10,000, a million, of like how pissed off that is and how upsetting that is. But then like, I mean, you're pissed off and and you feel disrespected, but also like you're going into work every day being degraded for just because of your sex and possibly worse. Like best case scenario is you're just being degraded and downplayed because of your sex and maybe you're underpaid, but it like the worst case is there's new pictures of you being sent around the office, and then there's guys making jokes about raping you to other guys. I don't know, and it's just I mean I don't know how they're gonna fix this. Like you talk about like it, it makes it even easier to like be pissed off at them, and it shouldn't be. I mean these are apple and oranges here, but it's just like you think about like we've been bitching about and upset fans have been for the last year plus now
Hmm.
with Activision and Blizzard. We've been talking about like, and there's even us like talking about like, oh man, Blizzard, like Activision's taking over Blizzard. This is bad. Like we've seen like there was that what was that Warcraft 3 shit that happened a couple years ago, last year.
Yes, the remaster of Warcraft 3 that ended up becoming incredibly shitty
Yeah,
because of how many terrible changes that were made and replacing the original game with the remaster that was complete shit.
yeah,
So
and then
that
like
was that controversy.
Jason Schreier, I did a whole like Bloomberg article about this, and he was gonna post it like I think so. I think this broke on Wednesday. What was it? Wednesday, either Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and he was posting the article on Thursday. So I mean, it wasn't like planned. It just kind of happened this way. So by the time his shit came out, like no one cared. It was like they were still
Yeah,
feeling the effects of this. I mean, obviously it's way what the infighting and all that shit. What happened with Warcraft 3 and what's happening to the women at Activision Blizzard is far and away worse. But it's just like you just think of everything building up to, and like we were talking about, oh man, Blizzard's taking over Activision. This isn't good. But fuck, man, maybe it's a good thing that this is happening. I mean, I get those. I mean, if they're still there, hopefully they're gone. And like there was the internal email about some of the shit being old. Hopefully, if there's people still there, I hope they're gone. And I hope that fucking it's kind of like it's almost it's not as bad. I mean, I don't want to fucking compare sexual assault cases, but like Penn State, where it's like everybody that was there for the most part, unfortunately, was already gone and never got really in any trouble for it, or they were passed away. When it's like covering up young boys being molested, and unfortunately most of those people were either old, gone, or dead, and never got to face punishment. I hope that these people actually face some real punishment, whether they still work there or not, and hopefully never work in um, this industry again. And then also more importantly, get fucking some actual criminal charges against them, and not just well it happened at work, so this shit doesn't matter as much criminally. But I don't know. I just and going back to like what I was hoping for um with California could do to them, like because I hope they don't just settle on something here. I want they just take the first opportunity, like the first thing. We'll take a $20 million fine or something. I don't know, maybe probation or something. I don't know obviously how the shit works. I am not a lawyer, especially in any state, especially California. But I hope that there's some serious penalties against them. And I think about I was thinking recently, but this kind of reminded me of like what's going on with like this kind of going to football here with Dan Snyder with the Washington football team. Like this guy is the most hated owner in all of NFL. It's kind of a sleazy douchebag. Whether it's the fact that that he didn't want to change the name of the team, which from the original name, and I mean this wasn't a PC culture thing. This wasn't this generation. This is something people have been pushing for since the 70s, and he tell you he would never change a name ever, and then after 50 years of people trying to get him to change the name because it was offensive to Native Americans, what makes him change it was FedEx saying they're going to pull their name off the stadium, and Nike saying they're going to pull their $100 million a year deal from Washington, and
yeah.
that's
So
what made
basically,
him.
money.
Yeah, and then when on top of that, all the allegations that came against them with uh, with the way they were treating women there, which are the cheerleaders and the people in the front office, and it was just basically trying to sell the cheerleaders off like essentially prostitutes, making them pose nude for their his millionaire buddies and stuff like that, and like all this shit going on for years and years and years. And the NFL, they give him the biggest penalty ever, $10 million penalty, but he's not gonna see that fucking fine. It's not. He's not writing a check to give him back 10 million. They're just gonna take it out when he gets when they start paying him his money. And all he's gonna do, all he's gonna do is he's gonna fucking, you know, the price of parking is gonna go up 50 cents. That money's gonna come right back to him. He's never gonna see it because they're gonna make that money up. Hot dogs will go up $1. You know, that money will come back to him. Like it's 10 for him. $10 million is a lot to him. That's probably like if your work came up and said, hey, we're taking $20 out of your paycheck this week or this, you know, off. You get paid every 2 weeks. They're taking $20 out. You notice it, but it's not going to make or break you. At least hopefully not going to make or break you. And that's probably what that was to him. I know I know it's the biggest fine forever for them, but I don't know. I mean, there's nothing good out of it. I mean, I'm just trying to. It's kind of like trying to find positives in COVID in a way, where it's like you feel bad for trying to find those positives, but it's like you have to find those positives. And I just kind of like think of this like, I feel like 5 years ago, this wouldn't be an issue. You know, maybe 5 years ago, maybe definitely not 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been a thing. So I guess like trying to just find something out of that. It's like, at least this is something being handled now. Because like I said, 5 years ago, 2016, 2011, this would have been, nothing would have changed. And especially, it's just, I don't know. Like, you hear about the shit with the HR, when they're going to HR, and the HR says, well, they're too powerful, we can't do anything, or the HR is friends with those people, so they're not going to do anything, which isn't hard to believe, because I've worked for multiple companies where HR is buddy with the top people in companies, and it's like, you go to talk to them and complain to them about something, and as you're going in there to go talk to them about something, that person you want to go talk to or make a complaint about is sitting in there and they're yakking it up, joking around. It's like, well, fuck, I'm fucked. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Gables, you got anything else you want to say? I'm sorry I dominated that conversation, but is there anything you want to touch on?
To be perfectly honest with you, Tyler, I think you went ahead and covered most of what the topic was in general. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, all those situations are horrible. But at the same time, it's like the positive thing about this whole ordeal, even though there's a lot of shittiness that is coming out from Activision Blizzard, is it's getting addressed. They're being pointed out, and the state of California, even after all the craziness and all the other stupid shit they have been doing as a state, is going forth and addressing Activision Blizzard inside this court case to see this unethical work environment and stuff, and potentially we may see a change as a result. So I'm gonna be positive about, hey, this is gonna lead to some form of good change structurally in regards to that, and obviously I hope we don't have to hear more about the craziness or the unethical work environments of another gaming company.
Yeah. I mean, just, yeah, not in gaming, but I mean, it's all,
Well, for them.
yeah, but for the gaming world, yeah, because I mean, gaming is for the most part still a boys club. So, um, and maybe this will, if something serious, if they get the book thrown at them here, may example of, maybe this will make all the other companies that kind of like let the shit slide. Maybe they'll fucking start changing shit around. Um, but like I said, no easy way to segue out of that. But just we're gonna have to do it anyway. So let's rip the band-aid off, move on to some other news here. So EA Play had their event on Thursday. I was surprisingly able to avoid spoilers all day, and when I got home and watched it Thursday night. So not a lot of stuff came out of it, but they focused a decent amount on each thing they talked about. Like a lot of shit they announced, they said beforehand wasn't going to be there. We kind of talked about this last week, where they said a lot of stuff wasn't going to be there, and then they did some smaller events throughout the month to get that stuff out of the way. Like they did like the Madden FIFA thing, they did like EA original stuff. But the thing they did talk about was they announced so Codemasters, who they recently purchased earlier this year, I think for like $1.2 billion. They announced they're making a Grid Legends. It's a racing game. The difference is here, though, it's like a live action like story mode is in this. So and they kind of showed some like making of like what they're doing with like it's all just focused on how they're making the story mode and kind of like the general idea of what's gonna be about. They even have I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name, but he plays Eric in the Netflix show Sex Education, which is a hilarious British comedy, and I fucking love that show. And I'm just when I saw him, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I know who that guy is. I'm not like I said, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I'm just gonna royally butcher it, and I don't want to do that. But then they also had one of the EA original games they did show off. I think they revealed. I think they announced this one last year at their EA Play event, but it's called Lost in Random. It's kind of got that Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas art style, and it's like is it what I don't know if it's like an action RPG sort of thing. It's like It's kind of described as a gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure from the Zoink Game Studio. It's coming out. Oh, it's coming out September 10th. I did not see it actually. I thought it was next year. But it's like you roll a dice. I don't know. It just looks like a fucking I was blown away by the art style of the Nightmare Before Christmas art style. Um, Next up, they announced what's going on with season 2 of Knockout City. It's starting on July 27th, and it's a fight at the movies where they're just doing like a bunch of like movie kind of like knockoff like jokes like this guy basically he's Indiana Jones and shit like that. Like there's characters and there's like maps that kind of look like you're at the movies and then Hollywood and stuff like that. So and there's gear and playlists and shit like that. That's gonna be a part of that. Apex Legends. They announced what's going on with the next season of that starts on the 3rd of August, and they announced or showed off the new character as well. What was their name? Seer is their name. Next up, they spent a decent amount of time on this one, the Battlefield Portal, which I guess actually leaked earlier in the day, but like I said, I was on trying to stay internet silent, so I missed all this. But kind of did a deep dive on this one, where it basically like it takes elements from like all the Battlefield games before that, whether it's 1942, Bad Company, or any of the previous Battlefield games, and like you can use like older maps from those games, and you could do like they have like game modes already in there, but there's like you can make custom games, or like you can do like quantity over quality, where you can use it's like 30 like it is all like live online play, where there's 32 characters from World War II, like 19 Battlefield 1942 army World War II German soldiers against 4 2042 soldiers. So like obviously the 2042 has way better weapons. There's 4 against 32 World War II soldiers. There was like one mode where it was like 32 people basically using like robots to fight a World War II tank. You can create your own game modes, stuff like that. So that look kind of cool. And then the worst kept secret in all gaming gables. Dead Space was officially revealed. It did come out and say it's a remake. It's going to be on the next gen consoles only and PC, of course, but no release window or anything like that. But finally have confirmation of that. Kind of like run through everything. What was your overall thoughts on EA Play, and just kind of what was shown off there?
Overall thoughts are like two things, and that was Lost in Random, which I felt that the control style looked fairly interesting in regards to this whole card battle kind of system that they
That's what
have
it was.
going
Thank you.
right there, where it's like it does have action elements to where it feels like an action RPG in some spots, but depending upon what you want to go through and roll dicey and stuff like that, you could either get like a specific number which will do a specific attack against a random group of enemies or whatsoever. I love the concept. I do love the fact that the game looks so reminiscent of like a Tim Burton style of animation. That whole gothic horror sort of look, that definitely has a unique flair to it. I'm fairly excited that this thing's coming out in September. I
Mm.
do have interest in wanting to play that, since it's definitely one of those games that has like a visual popping style, sort of similar to another game that I've been playing this week that I'll get to later. But as far as the overall EA stuff, I mean, the other thing that I really liked was the whole Dead Space remaster reveal. I mean, I loved how they went with it in terms of the revelation and stuff, and you all of a sudden you see the lights and stuff on the back of Isaac and stuff
Mm.
like that just start popping up and stuff. And man, that definitely was fun. That being said, it was pretty. It's the Cold Conference in and of itself. It was pretty much on level to what I would have come to expect from EA's visual presentation, which there was plenty of stuff I didn't care much about at all. I mean, Xavier Woods did his best to go through and present the games in an interesting fashion. Austin Creed, the lead guy for Up Up Down Down and stuff. That site, which what, for those listening, yeah, you should go through and like watch a little bit of Up and Down Down. They do have some fairly entertaining things from time to time.
Yeah.
But as far as the EA stuff, I mean, I didn't really care too much about what was announced, like the Knockout City stuff. It's free to play thing, hey, not my jam. Battlefield, hey, the Battlefield stuff looks cool. They're mixed mashing a whole bunch of types of soldiers, types of things from their past previous games, from like Bad Company 2 to like called like Battlefield like 1942 or some shit like that,
Mm.
and they're all just mashing it together. Kind of surprised that they haven't tried that at all, but the concept is interesting. I feel like there's going to be a bunch of people that'll want to play it, obviously, when it comes out eventually. But I felt like this was like okay. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I'm with you. We were both talking about last week is like, I think our expectation levels, like we were saying, was like a 5 or 6 out of 10, and
Yeah,
like it's kind of like when I talk about the state of play stuff, where it's like they tell you exactly what's going to be there to set your expectations properly, and they never lie to you. It's always what they say is going to be there, what's going to be there, and it just kind of depends on whether or not you like those things that's there. And
right.
that's kind of the same thing. They basically told us everything that wasn't going to be there, so we were able to like figure out what's going to be there from based off of that. Um, I still think it's like probably one of their better EA plays that they've had.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about every year when we watch E3, and it's just like, oh man, it's like they used to be like 45 minutes to an hour long, and it'd be like, here's the new Need for Speed, here's FIFA, here's Madden, and even like me, that's a big Madden fan, puts hundreds of hours in Madden every year. Even I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to see this shit. Like I'm gonna buy it. I don't care. We're gonna buy it. We don't really give a shit. Other than that time they announced they're doing a single player mode, I didn't care. Um, but yeah, it was fine. I was never really bored. I guess like and the stuff they kind of I like the fact though like they only showed like I think like 6 stuff there, and they spent a little more time on those things. I have to sneeze, and it's bugging the shit out of me. Um, but and I'm just like I'm trying to hold it in, but also just let it go. But it's not happening. My eyes are watering. I'm at that stage where my eyes are watering now because I have to sneeze so bad. Um, but yeah, I just yeah I don't know like Apex. I don't really give a shit about. Knockout City was fun for a weekend, but I mean for people that are still playing, and it's nice they're doing an update after it's only been out for 2 months, so that's good. They're adding new content because that's a complaint we hear about a lot of games, especially when they first come out. Like I remember like I think Fall Guys when that came out last year, it was cool for like big for it's still big now. I mean, but it's not like that shit was everybody was talking about that shit like that first like month or so it was out.
The
But
first
then
month or so before Among Us
yeah,
took over.
well Among Us was before that. And then we all jumped off of that with the Fall Guys, and then everybody went back to Among Us. Um, but yeah, like but then like by the time they announced what was coming to season 2 or the next whatever, like it was we were like that was too long ago. Like you guys should have done this earlier or done some more shit earlier. Um, But yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I like the Grid Legend stuff. Looks kind of cool. Like just the story mode aspect of it. I'm like, but overall, I think the story modes and some of the shit they've been adding that a lot more stuff, and it's just like I think it's better than like the NBA 2K story modes they do. Like those are just awful, and they're not.
Yeah.
At least these aren't riddled with microtransactions like the 2K shit is. But
Ugh.
they haven't been very good. I mean, the first when they did the long shot in Madden, that was really cool. And I heard the first year they did FIFA was really cool as well. Um, but the second year they did long shot was not as good, but it was still better than the shit. I mean, I'd rather take that over anything they're doing right now because they're bad. Madden story modes are story modes. I'm using quotations there because it's very lightly a story, are just not good. Um, so yeah, I'm in Dead Space. I mean, that would have been we love leaks. We love sport. We get excited for those things. It's just it's the downside of like we get excited for like we want to know what's happening before like they get announced because it's exciting. But it's
Yes.
like also when it does happen, it kind of ruins it. And then if it wasn't there, it's kind of like last year when like the Mass Effect stuff happened, and it was supposed to be EA Play, but then it got delayed to it got announced in November instead of EA Play because it was supposed to come out in October of last year, and then it wasn't there. So then we were just all, even though it wasn't like the worst EA Play, it was an okay EA Play. I mean, not as good as this year's, but it was like we were all just everybody just wanted Mass Effect, and then it wasn't there. Um, so if it wouldn't have been there, that would have made it worse. But also the fact that we didn't know it was coming kind of killed the because that would have been like the coolest announcement probably of the year. Bigger than anything probably announced at E3 that was last month. Um, but yeah, I mean it's exciting to know it's back. They're doing a remake, um, which is awesome. I mean I think I'd rather have a remaster trilogy than a remake, but I don't know. I'm not gonna complain because I don't know. I've fuck. It's hard. I don't want to complain. That's stupid of me to complain. I'm just happy we're having Dead Space. I should be happy it's back. And hopefully this sells super duper well. Hopefully it's really really good. Um, and then we get a Dead Space 2 remake, and then maybe we get a good Dead Space 3 that isn't full of microtransactions. And then also they don't spoiler alert for Dead Space 3. They literally kill every human in the world or in the universe. So kind of hard to make a sequel after they kind of wrapped up the universe in Dead Space. So they kind of
Yeah.
have to do a remake and like fix all. Maybe they could fix all that shit. And take the asteroid shooting mini game out of it. That'd be great too. Um, I totally forgot about that, and then like I heard someone mention that on Twitter, asking, "You think that's going to be in there?" I'm like, I totally. No, I hope to God not. That was awful. I totally spaced all that shit. Um, yeah, yeah, it was fine. It's kind of hard to like give it like a 1 out of 10 ranking because we were both
Mm.
in like a 5 or 6 expectation level. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It
I kind of
met
feel like
it.
it was like
Yeah,
around
it,
that
it
way.
met those expectations. So like on that scale of like a 5 or 6 expectation, it was a 10 out of 10. I guess I don't know. But I mean, like it's been kind of a light news week. Not really light news week. But not a lot of volume of news. So we got a decent amount of quick hitters this week. So I said this one to you, Gables. We had the Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duels was announced. I guess there was like a Yu-Gi-Oh type direct on like Sunday night, Monday morning in Japan or
Yeah,
something.
it was
And they
weird.
announced a bunch of there's some other Yu-Gi-Oh games announced, but I was really excited when I heard this, and then I found out they announced Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duels, which is a new it's another Yu-Gi-Oh game. I don't know what the fuck Louis is doing back there. I think he took off with something. I don't know what it was, but they announced this. It's a free-to-play Yu-Gi-Oh game, which sounds scary because some of those ones that they charge money for, those Yu-Gi-Oh games, they really rake you over the coals for fucking
Yes.
microtransactions. The legacy of the duels wasn't as bad, but it still wasn't great. But I mean, you could actually beat the entire game without. I never put another dime out of them buying the game. But like there was like add-ons they added later on, and they were way overpriced. They're overcharged for some of that shit. Whether it was like starter packs or like new duelers you can face. But this is free to play, and Gables,
Yes.
because of the next gen consoles, they are finally able to use the full power of these consoles to give you 4K 60 frames per second, which just made me laugh when the guy said that. I'm like, really? Your trading card the PS4 and the Xbox One were just too weak of a console for your cheaply made animations to really look. That was the issue, was the power. Last of Us Part 2, they figured it out. They did some wizardry. Fucking Titanfall 2, they figured that shit out. Halo 5, they figured that shit out. But they don't need as much power as the Dark Magician doing an attack and
I'll be
Yu-Gi-Oh.
perfectly honest with you. The last Yu-Gi-Oh game they put out on the PS4, which that whole like a Legacy of Duelist stuff. I can tell you this right now: the DS game Nightmare Troubadour looked fucking better than that shit in terms of their
It's the
animation
same
stuff.
fucking layup. They're just slightly better looking. And I turned the animations off because they were so bad. I didn't want to
Yeah.
fucking look at them anymore. Um, I just thought that was funny. It's like now with the new power, I'm like, oh boy, well, how is this thing gonna run on last gen consoles and the Switch? Because fuck,
Oh,
it's gonna melt the motherboard in these fucking things. Do consoles
your
have
Switch is
motherboards?
just gonna open another portal to another dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Jesus
oh, I'm the
Christ.
Dark Magician now. What?
Now we're in the fucking um, what's the zone you
Wait,
get stuck into?
it's like wait, I've been transported to the Shadow Realm.
Shadow Realm. Thank you. I was trying to think of it. I was trying to make a joke there and I lost it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed. I was excited because I've talked about for years. I actually like after years of terrible microtransaction riddled Yu-Gi-Oh games, they finally gave us a good one, Legacy of the Duels, 5 years ago. I was like, oh god, finally another one. Then it's free to play. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna check it out because it's free to play. But um, I can't wait to finally see the full power of what the PS5 can do. It just sucks that we're maxing out these new consoles 6 months in instead of at the end of the generation.
Yeah, watch. It's just gonna be like a 2-second cutscene per card or something like that. Hey, the Dark Magician's coming on the field. All of a sudden, he just uses a dark magic attack that looks like it's going at 2 frames per second.
Yeah, it's like man, you gotta get a PS5 Pro, guys. It's too much. Uh, Gables is playing tug of war with his dog. So Gables, I made this joke a couple months ago. Um,
Yes.
but it still applies today. Unfortunately, it's not even much of a joke anymore. Do you love Earthbound, Gables?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you like to play that on your Switch console?
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, Nintendo says fuck you because you're not getting it. You're getting you're getting 3 new games on July 28th. You're getting Claymates, Jelly Boy, and Bomboozle. There are no new NES games, so you don't even get the original Earthbound.
Let me tell you something. I was on YouTube the moment that video dropped from Nintendo. It's like,
Same.
oh, hey, we added some more we added some more games in our Super Nintendo app. And I look at it, and I kid you not, as soon as I watched that, I had to watch it twice because I could not believe that these were game releases on the Switch's Super Nintendo app. But importantly of all that, I typed into the show notes is like Nintendo Switch adds online games, and I added a little blub blub like dot dot dot. What the fuck?
Uh huh. And hey,
And you
Gables,
thought, yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And you thought that last month was underwhelming.
Yeah. At least they were like every now and again they give us like every like month or two they give like at least give us like a Japan game that never made its way
Yes.
over here. It's like we get Claymates, which was the game before they made Clay Fighters. So whatever. We don't even get the game that they're known for. We get the game before the game they were known for.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
'cause that
And
makes
on top
sense.
of that, we get two games that never made it stateside, right? These are like European games only, right?
Yeah.
This whole Jelly Boy and freaking like Kablooey or whatever the fuck this game is. It looks like a freaking mutated Mr. Potato Head going through an exploding ship.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm looking at screenshots right now.
oh my gosh. The amount of I was reading a lot of the comments too on the YouTube video, and man, you better believe that this thing got ratioed so horribly on
Oh,
YouTube
sure.
the
I
moment
want
it
to see
got
the
announced.
I want to see the downvotes on these fucking things. Oh boy, the Jesus Christ, the Bon Boozle one just is offensive to all to my eyes.
Yeah,
It's actually
Bomboozle.
scratch that. It's offensive to all 5 senses. It just looks like it tastes bad.
It makes it even worse though that in Japan they actually got
Yeah,
like one of the they actually got one of the whole like Shimigami Tensei games that
yeah.
released right there that month.
Tensai if.
Stop it. No.
So
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Oh. Oh, my little dog. He has a tendency of biting too hard on my fingers.
Gables just like boop me on the fucking nose.
Oh, that's just my mom. Holy crap. Oh,
Oh boy, if you've never watched us, Gables mute his mic when he's dying. Oh, man. If you
oh, for those who are watching on the stream, my dog just did a complete front flip into his cage door, mistaking my mom for like some stranger, started barking at her, and all of a sudden you just see him just go, phew.
if you've never watched our video version, now this is the episode to do it. Just go to like the 45-minute mark, give or take, and fucking find it because that was awesome. I hope it
Did
didn't
you
get cut
actually
off
see
in the
my dog
stream.
do that though? That was hilarious.
Oh, that was fucking great.
Oh,
Oh man.
shit. And all that because my mom had to go through it. So it's like, oh yeah, she went poop on the floor. And they're like, I took him out to use the bathroom.
Oh man. Thank you, German Taco.
Oh, Jesus
Uh,
Christ. Yeah. I knew I should have named him Crash, but still,
yeah.
regardless. Oh, he's still in here. Anyway.
Not after the Bandicoot, just after the test dummies.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, these whole Nintendo Switch Online, yeah, you know it's not a fairly good month if the things that my dog is doing is way more interesting than the fucking games
He heard
talking
the news. He tried to jump to his own death.
about. He literally just did a front flip into his cage door with disgust.
Yeah.
But you know, out of all the games they could have potentially done and stuff, I'm actually with a lot of gamers when as soon as this announcement reached, why not they just bring back the stupid fucking virtual console at this point? You know, it's like they're obviously not going with the best games, just doing a lot of these things through contractual
Yeah.
obligations, and it's
And they're
like,
not even doing like their own first party shit. It's not even like the third party stuff. It's the first party shit that they
yeah,
could just do anytime, and they just don't do it. It's wow. I mean, I almost it makes you wonder like, do they just regret doing the Switch Online thing and not charging us a la carte for them?
you
Because
know,
I
I can
think
see that.
people at this point, if they would, if I think most gamers at this point have like you just if you could give me if I had to pay $5 a piece for all these, almost everything I wanted, at least first party wise, and not just and also 64 and GameCube and all that shit. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. I got to sneeze and I have the hiccups. Excuse me, now I burped. Hey, this is a rough episode for everybody here. Chico more than everybody, but
Chico literally backflipped in disgust.
yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm out. I don't want to hear the shit anymore. Um,
Which Jelly Boy does that with people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I told you that Bomboozle was offensive to me. Jelly Boy apparently was more offensive to him. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody at this point would just rather pay $5 a piece for some of the shit than just have this. I mean, it's not even like we're not even getting like top tier, even mid tier, like third party shit. We're getting like the bottom of the most bottom of the barrel, like games that no one heard of.
It literally games you could have played back in the day if you rented them from a gas station. That's what we're getting.
You wouldn't have to run from the gas station, Gables. People, they were in the trash can of the gas station. That's where they were. You said it, and people doused them in fuel, but they wouldn't. They were so awful you couldn't set them on fire because the devil made them.
Oh jeez.
Anyways, Gables, sticking with Nintendo for a million here. Um, so this is kind of a rumor that's going on right now. Is apparently some people have received notifications that as of April 1st of next year, you will no longer be able to send in games to be accepted for submission for 3DS and Wii U. And this is something that's kind of like we're dealing with. So here these new titles should be lot check approved latest within 3 months after the submission deadline. So even earlier than that. So basically, at the end of the fiscal year, that's basically the end of apparently based off these rumors. If I'm not been confirmed by anybody yet, this came from a European, the European side that they won't be able to add new games to the, or at least you won't be able to put new games in to be submitted on on those consoles after April 1st, which is kind of something that's been going on with the Vita, where like they were originally gonna close it in August, but they said like you wouldn't be able to put new games in for acceptance after I think it was like July, and then they said, oh no, we'll keep it open, but after July, if a game hasn't been approved by us, then you can't. So basically, actually now there's no more games will be able to be put in for the approval, and then after that, no there will be whatever games have been approved now. Those will be the last of the Vita games put on their stores. But that's kind of what we're looking at now. I guess. Well, I mean, the 3DS was, I mean, in a roundabout way, really retired in like 2018, but they kind of like tried to keep it going for another couple of years. And
Yeah, pretty much.
The Wii U came out in November of 2012 and died in December 2012. So it just makes sense, that with the Switch now is 4.5 years old. At that point, it'll be 5 years old.
Yes.
Makes sense that these two games, at least not shutting off the ability to purchase any games, even though they did announce in Japan that you can only buy games with Nintendo points, with like buying eShop points instead of using a credit card. But
Right.
at this point, you won't be able to add any more games, which is, I don't know, makes sense. Why are we making games for these things at this point still?
I know that's fairly true. At that same point, people could still, if they really wanted to get some of these games in the 3DS and the Wii U, they can potentially buy the points cards or something. Or if you wanted to, you could just redeem things on your Switch and then just go to the previous shops because they're tied up to there. So it's like I can understand why they wouldn't want to potentially end a lot of the but the game stuff. I mean, quite honestly, I thought this thing happened sooner than what it was. To be perfectly honest with you, but yeah, honestly, at that point, it's like I fully expect the 3DS and the Wii U's eShop stuff to cease continuing possibly by the end of 2022 if
Yeah,
they're already in two separate things, credit card transactions and also game release things.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I just wonder what they're gonna do as far as like, uh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I guess it's been like I said, it's been 5 years. I just wonder if like there's so many like virtual console games on there that you still can't get on the Switch yet. So that kind of, but I guess it's like you would. It's kind of an argument I made with the Vita when they announced that they're the outrage behind that. I was like, well, these games have been available for a decade now, so if you really wanted them, you would have bought them already, kind of thing. Um, but I guess the big key though, as long as they give us a give, I mean more so for this, give the developers at least a long heads up for that way, because earlier you heard about like a lot of people that were still making games for the Vita, and like
Yes.
they announced, hey, with 4 months notice, if your shit's not done, then I mean it's not coming out. So which that's really shitty for them. So as long as you give them a decent heads up that this shit's happening for them, and then I mean, and then just give at least give I'd say at least give them a fucking year, and
Yeah,
then I mean
really.
which I mean I guess you give them 8 months if this is true, and then yeah like I said I think give us a good 6 months to a year to let us know that hey if you want to buy shit do it now because in return you won't be able to buy shit anymore. But yeah I don't know I mean I just wonder if Treefall Studios will be able to recover from this Gables
Oh,
because
jeez.
your favorite studio.
Oh, oh my God. Treefall Studios. Anyway,
Yeah, but I mean, their games come on PS4 now. They're so bad they can't go. The Nintendo won't approve them on the Switch,
that's
but
very true.
PlayStation and Steam will take them. Um, sorry, I just can't. When I see an opportunity to take a shot at them, I can't help myself. We're gonna get sued one day by them. Um, Eli is so mad at us right now. But this is kind of cool news here for PlayStation owner, PS5 owners rather. Um, excuse me, PS5 owners will be able to get a free 6 months. Excuse me, very burpy. Apple TV. So if you have a PS5, all you gotta do is just go in. Um, uh, there's a link you can do. Just Google search it, and you click on the link and just kind of tie the two accounts together, and you will get 6 months. And I believe it like so for me last year I bought an iPhone, and they gave me a free year, and my year doesn't get into November, but it seems like I can do this now, and they'll just add an extra additional 6 months onto my account. So it isn't just like if you're on a free trial, you don't get another one. It sounds like cool. You can just add on another little bit right now. I don't know. It seems like Apple TV's been getting better and better lately. There's a lot more buzz behind it. They have that. There's that. Oh, God, Mythical Quest or Mythic Quest. There's that. It's made by the guy from Mac from Always Sunny. That's his new show. That's or not new show. It's season 2 just came out over there, and everybody's saying that show is excellent. It's on there. There's that Ted Lasso season 2 just started this weekend. Everybody's raving about that one, and there's been some exclusive movies on there as well. So people have been kind of raving about it lately, and just kind of cool that they're doing this thing going on. You could sign up for this promo for you have until July 22nd of next year, so you got a full year to sign up for this, which is kind of cool to see they're doing this thing as well. We've seen this like Xbox did this last month, or actually a couple weeks ago, they announced that you can get a free 30 days of Disney Plus if you have Game Pass. Um, and like I think you could do the same thing with Spotify. You get the Spotify Premium for the like same deal with them. So it's kind of cool, I mean, if you got a PS5, I know they're hard to get out there, but if you're one of like the 10 million or so that have one, I mean, fuck yeah, why not check it out? It's like I think it's only like $5 a month, so save yourself $30. Check out some cool shit. Are you gonna are you gonna use this?
I may potentially go through and use this. I gotta square up some billing information in that regards, but at the same time, I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean,
It's free.
if I'm able to watch certain things, I mean, hell, PS5 owner, it's free, so I might as well try it out.
Yeah. Hopefully the app works better than the HBO Max app because the HBO Max app is awful.
I
Um,
actually have never used the HBO Max app on the PS5.
yeah, I mean it's just in general it sucks everywhere, but it's like I have only have LG TVs, so I have to use my console for it, and it I was just trying to watch shit on there today, and if you pause it, good luck. 50-50 if it starts up again without closing on you, or you're just watching it just
Ooh.
randomly crashes on you. It's just piece of shit. So hopefully it works better now. But Apple TV is on more devices. It's on LG devices. So and Samsung shit like that. So it's out there. So, but even still, if you have
Yeah.
PS5, you have access to this, and if you have an iPhone, you have also access to it. So, like I said, it's free. It's cool. It's a cool deal. Check it out. But moving on here to our last quick hitter here. I don't know how much to say on this one. Gables, Ubisoft announced they have a new free to play game they're doing. It's called Tom Clancy's X Defiant. It's like they're doing this like
Okay.
punk rock cross. It basically it's so I think the main guy on here was like he helped make he was like a top guy I think with Respawn before with Call of Duty. So it's basically Call of Duty
Oh,
with some
okay.
punk esh, more colorful style to it. But it's like also like a hero shooter where each character has different stuff we do. Like I think Call of Duty did this back with Black Ops 3 or 4, where they try to make it like a hero shooter as well. Um, it's more that like and it's just like I feel like this is kind of like a reattempt after Hyperscape came out last year. They try to like do their own version of a um, uh, battle royale free to play because all the big developers have their own personal. Activision's got Warzone, EA's got Apex, so this is Ubisoft's version of that, and came out failed, or not really failed, but they said last year after like a few months on the market that didn't take off like they wanted to, and they're kind of like going back to the drawing board on this. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's coming. There's gonna be a beta later this year, and I believe they're aiming for it to come out this year. I believe is what they said. Maybe it was early next year. I don't know. I watched trailer for it. Looks like a colorful Call of Duty shooter. I don't know. I mean, what did that blow you away at all, Gables, when you saw this?
To be perfectly honest with you, I mean it looked okay in that regards, X Defiant and stuff like that. But I didn't actually know the background that there was a former member of Respawn and like Infinity Ward or something working at the head of
Yeah.
like this project. I thought it was like immediately like a Frank West or like a Vincent Pella type of stuff. But but honestly, I play enough of like the type of shooters like on Destiny 2 and stuff to really I really don't see me potentially wanting to play it personally.
Yeah. I mean, and this isn't for us. These are like these things that come out, and it's like the gaming world is so crazy nowadays, or so big and broad that like there are people that play more games, spend more hours playing games a year than us, but they play 1 or 2 games. Um, and there's like these games like that maybe we don't even ever heard of, or these games that we think are just dead,
Uh
and they
huh.
are alive and well. And there's just this whole market over there that like Fall Guys is still big, but it's just like I said, the gaming world is so big that this thing could have a good size audience, and we won't even fucking know what happens. It looks fine. It looks technically fine. I just nothing about it blew me away. I think it will have a leg up where, like Hyperscape when it came out, it was only on PC. This is gonna be on everything, so
Yes.
that's gonna help it out where it's not stuck on one market. Like even though the PC is a big market, most of these free to play games like Warzone and Fortnite, shit like that, overwhelmingly it's like 70+% of gamers that play these games play on console still. So
Well, yeah, of
um,
course.
it's a big deal. You want to be launching on everything. Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for the news part of it, Gables. I do want to, if you don't mind, I'm gonna start real quick. I do want to talk about a free to play game I've been playing myself.
Okay,
Um,
let's do it.
so I was telling Gills for the show, after talking enormous amounts of shit about this game, there was
Okay.
actually some good buzz coming out about it. Pokemon Unite came out free to
Okay.
play on the Switch, um, and people have been saying pretty good things about it for the most part. I've heard there's some free to play, pay to win bullshit in it, and I was kind of looking. I haven't spent any money. I'm not going to spend any money on this thing, but I was kind of looking at um, like the things you can buy in this, and there are like you can like like you can your Pokemon can hold items in the main game.
Yes.
You could do the same thing with this, and you can like um, your Pokemon like in the game you start at level 1 and then you level up as you um, do more damage or KO Pokemon and stuff like that. And there's like items you can do that like your attacks do more, or you heal a little bit as you're playing the game. Your character slowly heals, or there's like one where like you can buy with real money, or you can buy with earned money, but I mean it takes forever. So it's obviously way faster to spend real money. You can
Yes.
buy like your character levels up faster, which then he can evolve, and then you get more powerful special attacks, stuff like that. So, anyways, I don't know how big a deal that is, but I played three games of this. So it's a MOBA. I've never played a MOBA before. I've seen it, but I didn't really know how it worked.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
so I played the 3 games, and this game is actually really really cool. I like this game a lot. I mean, obviously it's hard to say. It's one of those things where like when I play these like newer games and they come out, it's like I really got into Splatoon for like 2 weeks and like Arms for a couple weeks, and because I was like doing like actually really well, and then I'm out, then like I kind of like slow down or like people like surpass me, and I was like I'm just getting my ass whooped now and I'm no longer having fun. But I played 3 games, all 3 games I was the MVP in these. But kind of the way it works is um, so it's free to play. It's free to play. It's on Switch right now only. I think next month it comes to mobile. Um, but I'm not sure if they're gonna. Hopefully it has cross progression and all that. But you create your trainer. Very limited on what you can do for like looks and gear and all that. But you can unlock more gear for them, which is pointless because you can't actually see your trainer in the game. Um, but then like you start off with you can like pick between like 5 Pokemon at the beginning. Like there's like Pikachu, there's Charizard and stuff like that. A few other ones. And then you can unlock some as you level up, or you can buy more Pokemon to play as in the game. And like they have like novice, intermediate, expert. I'm not sure what that means. Is like how difficult it is to like use them, or as far as like leveling up. Because the more you level up, the more powerful like attacks. Like so, I picked
Right.
Charizard as my starter. But when you start the game, each game has a 10-minute time limit. Whoever scores the most points in that 10 minutes wins on the board. But when you start it off, you start as Charmander, so you're level 1, and then like I think like level 7 in the game you go to Charmeleon, and then like I think it's like level 11 you go to Charizard, and the highest I've ever gotten to, like the highest I've seen is like level 16 a character get to, and I think I got to like 14 in one of my games. Um, but the way it works is like so it's 5v5, and like I said, there's 10-minute time limit, and each team has like 5. So I should probably put it down here on the camera if people can see. Shoe's character has like each team has like 5 different platforms, uh, and the goal and like so like the enemies will be in the bottom and then yours will be on, or no, so is it 5 or 6? Maybe it's 6. I'm sorry, I'm fucking this all up. So you have 3 on the left side for you, and then they have 3 on their side. And the way it works is there's like wild Pokemon in the game. You can knock them out and you can see a number above them, and like so they'll have 5 on them or 2 on them, and the more points are worth, the more HP they have. They can attack you back, and you can knock them out and you earn points, and then you build these points up. They look like little Pokeballs at the bottom. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like
Right.
so you get like a little point, and then when you get to their like little circle they have, the enemy circle next to, there's 5 or 6 of them. There's 5. There's 5. I remember now. You do like almost like a dunk thing. So like you
Yes.
build up as many points as you want, but the more points, so like you have 20 points, which is hard to get. You have 20 points. You have to hold the X button down to do the dunk in the circle, and it takes longer to charge up to do that.
Oh,
And if
I
you get
see.
attacked, it resets it, and then each circle can only take 100 points of damage and it goes away. And the way that the advantage of that works is that when you get into their side of the field on the outside, like there's like a speed flux thing where you move slower in that area. So you kind of want to stay and just attack the 2 like spots at the beginning and like knock out those areas and slowly gain more ground. Once you destroy their zone, it's gone, and then you can move at your regular pace to the new areas. So it's kind of more like it's kind of like a domination thing where like now you own you kind of like they have less ground than you. And they can't get it back, but like I said, like so I think it's like 500 points is the max you can gain. And you can like if you KO then like it's in like if you go back to your circle, you get HP back. So it's kind of like a balance of like, all right, you can go over there and fight in their area, but I mean, there's gonna be more of them over there. You're gonna move slower, then they're gonna fuck you up. And then like if they're attacking you, they can go sit. They're in their area, go in the circle. They can kind of heal as they're attacking you and fight. But like
Yes.
you get like surrounded 2-on-1, unless like as you go and you get level up, you can like once you get to like I think it's like level 10, you unlock like the special attack, like the ultimate ability you can do. So like when like Charizard, like I can fly, so they can't hit me anymore, and I can like do a flamethrower, and it's like a super like it does a lot of damage, and they can't attack me for like 10 seconds. So I can do a lot of damage to a couple Pokemon against the like actual real life opponents. Um, to them in a short amount of time. And then you have other ones you can do. Like I can do like a fire spin or like a flamethrower attack. And there's a cooldown effect. And those do like extra points of damage against them. And then there's like a whole center area. That's kind of like no man's land. And there's wild Pokemon there. And then there's like legendary Pokemon will show up. Like Zapdos will show up. And it's a AI opponent, but like you face him like one-on-one or 2-on-1, he can fuck you up really good. So
Oh.
you kind of want to work together, and all of you and your team go attack him at once. And once you if your team defeats him, uh, you get like a shit ton of points. And then you can go like one of the games I defeated him, like got 50 points. I maxed out how many points you can have to like to score a goal on them in one go around. And then I knocked out 50 points out of 100 on this. And all three games, like we basically like one of the games they all left because we were like it was a bloodbath. We were like right away we were destroying them. The other two games, like the first game was really close and we just kind of overtook them in the last 2 minutes and won. But it's actually really fun. It's kind of hectic. The frame rates do drop sometimes when there's a bunch of like people on the map at the same time, but you rarely ever see it. For the most part, everybody's kind of spread out. Kind of my overall tactic is just like go down to the bottom and start there and like and attack. You don't see and like you just kind of like slowly. You don't want to like run in. You want to just like slowly attack and kind of you don't want to stray too far away from your area. So if you like your HP gets low, you can quickly go back and heal up.
Yes.
But you also want to be aggressive enough where like you're not you're not just waiting for them to come back. And like each Pokemon has different abilities and like different things that like so like Charizard, he's an all around character, so he's not super strong in any area. Some of them like I think Pikachu's like an attack character, so he's better for like being on the offensive. And then like Snorlax, he is a defender, so he's better for like defending your areas than going out and attacking areas. So I hope I'm explaining it well enough. But
You're actually explaining it fairly good, in my honest
okay,
opinion. I can understand some bits of terms in terms of what you're talking about.
yeah. I mean, but it's pretty simple. Like it seems like a lot at the beginning, but like the tutorial is fairly short. It's like 15 minutes. Like they kind of show you tell you what all the buttons do, and you play like a 5 minute game against the AI, and
Yeah.
then you're in the game. There's like rank. Eventually, like you level up your trainer enough, you can do like rank battles and stuff like that as well. I'm assuming those are the really really tough guys. But like I said, I've only done like 3 games. I'm on level 5 right now. My character is, and every time you level up, you unlock a new item, or you can unlock a new more money, or you can unlock like a new Pokemon, shit like that. I have 3 Pokemon unlocked now, and there's daily challenges you can do, kind of like any like live service game. But I don't know how bad it's gonna get. Like there's no like it doesn't seem like there's any bullshit like I've liked some of the other I've talked about in the past. Like I enjoyed like the Pokemon Picross game. There's that Pokemon Match 3 game that like they were so it was like based on like you spend real money you could play it sooner, or you had to wait for a timer to go down to play,
Right.
or like the AI got so difficult that you had to spend real money to unlock new stuff to be better.
Yeah.
And very frustrating is like I said before, like I would have paid $20 just to have the game and just work and just have everything be normal. Um, and this isn't so far. It doesn't seem like it has that. I don't like I said. I don't know. Like like I said, I've seen the thing where like you can buy equipment that your Pokemon can hold that will give you like I said, you can like buy a bandana that makes their attack stronger, or they can heal slightly, or they'll gain XP faster. Which I don't know how like they're not like once you buy them you have them with real money, but like so you can earn them in game as well. I don't know how bad that shit is, but it's only the first weekend. It just came out Friday, I think Thursday or Friday. But so far it doesn't seem awful, but I don't know. I want to keep checking it out. I don't think this might be something I just play for a week or two off and on, and then just kind of not play again. But I don't know, it seems fun. I mean, it's way better than I thought. I thought this game, especially based off my last 2 experiences with free to play games, and then there's the other 2 Pokemon free to play games they put out in the last few years that were just not good at all. They were just bad. But yeah, who would have thought that my favorite Pokemon game of the year would be Pokemon Unite of all things? Couple other things I did play this week. I'll kind of try to run through these a little faster because I took a decent amount of time already. I played through Last Stop, which is a game I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. I've talked about off and on. Yeah, I was really excited for this. It was like $25. I was gonna buy this one on day one regardless. It came out Thursday, but then it was announced it's coming to Game Pass, which I'm like, fuck yeah, cool. Save me $25. So this is the people that made I can't remember the name of the studio, something Slate I want to say. They made Virginia that came out like I think 2018, which I enjoyed. I thought it was a good game. It wasn't a great game, but it was a good game. It was kind of like it was like kind of like the Gone Home type experience, but like more like X-File mystery type shit. And this one kind of more the same, but it's third person in a way. It's kind of more like Tank Controls really. So this one you There are 3 characters you play as. There's John, there's Mina, and there is Donna. Kind of the cool thing to do with this one, and I beat it all on Saturday. I couldn't stop. It's about 6 hours long.
Oh,
I
cool.
just couldn't stop playing. And the flow of it's really good. So you can pick the order you play the characters, but each character has 6 chapters. But you can't just do like pick John and beat all 6 chapters on a go. You can say,
Yes.
oh, I want to play as John chapter 1. Do you beat his chapter and then you go back to it's like they're all 3 are sitting on a train, and then you pick the character and you get off the train and then you take off from there. It's not like the trainers. It's just them sitting on there. You pick which one you want to play as. So you pick John's and you come back to the train. There's Mina and Donna sitting there. Like, okay, now who's chapter 1 do I want to do next? And then you do all 3 of their chapter 1s and go on to chapter 2. Do the same thing.
Right,
You
right.
can do them all in any order. Anyways, so kind of the what's going on here is, and they have like slight intertwinings for the most part. And then there's a chapter 7 where everything all ties in together at the end. Minor spoilers there, sorry. But I mean, they kind of set it all up. Like the broad setup is, because this is a story driven game, like you could pick the dialogue options, but for the most part you're just kind of going with the ride. And then you can make some you can make some minor tweaks to like decisions, stuff like that, but for the most part you're along for the ride. There's no collectibles, there's no shit like this. You're just along for it's just an experience. So like John's story is him, and he's a single dad. He's like probably he's older in his 40s, maybe 50s. And he's got an 8-year-old daughter, Molly, and he has a neighbor that so they live in an apartment. And then he has a neighbor, Jake, who's like 20 something. He's a game developer. Super like, and John has some health issues. Uh, middle-aged guy, out of shape, all that. And has some heart problems. And then Jake is a 20 something game developer who is all about health, and he's a jogger and staying healthy and staying active. And
Hmm.
something happens and they switch bodies. And it's just a kind of a fun story there. And they tell their daughter, his John's daughter, Molly, and it's just an experience about them like trying to figure out like, okay, like how did this happen? What are they gonna do to switch back and all that? And it's like going on like them trying to like live their lives. And then Mina, she works for like this secret government agency, and it's very mysterious. Like you don't really know what's going on with her, but she has a husband and a son, but she's also having an affair with this guy named Felix.
Okay.
So she's living like this double life of like she has a secret job that she can't tell her family what she's doing, and she works really weird. So she's barely around her family, but then also she's living a third life where she has this affair going on, and you're just trying to uncover like what's going on with like like all this shit. Like she's being stalked by somebody, and then what is her job exactly? What's she doing? And then her just balancing trying to be a better mother slash wife, but
Right.
also it's very interesting how that all plays out. And then sorry, it's hard to I enjoy these games, but they're always so hard to talk about because they're so story driven. Um, and then Donna finally, hers is like she's got her 2 friends with her. She's a high school, she's I don't know, 16, 17 maybe, and she has this neighbor, or like they're all like just hanging out and stuff, and they see this neighbor that lives nearby, and um, he's like super weird. It's like these people, like he keeps bringing these people to his house, mostly women, sometimes guys, and they disappear, or like they go into the house but they don't come out. So then they follow him to like this abandoned warehouse, and like some weird shit happens, and then they have to basically like get away, kidnap him, um, and like just like and then he's got this like mysterious powers, and you're learning all about the shit. And then like I said, like there's weird like intertwinings here and there where like side characters from each story will be in other character story, or you might see
Right.
Mina walking in the background of John's story or something like that. But I don't know. It was really really good. I love the way it flowed because each chapter was around the 10 to 20 minute mark. So it
Right.
flowed so fast because like you're never being drawn down and always ended on a cliffhanger. Each chapter was like, oh fuck, that was awesome. I want to see how. Like I have to now. Okay, John's was awesome. Now I got to beat Mina's and Donna's to get there. Or like, oh sweet, so I did John's last, but I really like that cliffhanger. So now I'm gonna do John's first this time. So you're always kind of bouncing around who I want to play as. But like I said, there's no game here really. There's some like mini games you can do. Um, not really mini games, but they're like just little tiny things you can do. You're mostly just you're picking the dialogue, and there's some fun conversations you can have based off your options. But for the most part, like the dialogue options are kind of like you're just kind of all doing this. They all kind of say the same thing in a sort of way. It's just how you want to say it. Whether like it's just kind of like so like if Donna wants to say something mean back to her sister, like all three options to pick, like she's kind of being kind of rude about it, but it's just kind of based off how rude you want to be about it. You
Right.
can't really or like you could lie in the situation, but you can either but some like you can be completely honest about something or lie about something. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very mysterious. I loved it. John's was my favorite. Was my most the one I enjoyed the most overall because it was very more like comedic. Like they each all have their own tone. Where John's was like very like the characters and like his daughter, whoever voiced her, was incredible. I thought I love that she was super funny in this. She was the star of the show of the game for me, and it's also it takes place in like London or something. Like every character is British, so that's my biggest problem sometimes is I don't understand their terms. So I was very confused by like I don't know what that means, but I'm hoping I understand. I hope I get the um, I kind of get the gist of what they're saying, but I don't fully understand what they're saying. It's kind of like when you hear like a kid talking. It's like I don't. So like a kid, like a teenager say some shit, and it's like I don't know what that means. Like when like you hear like someone say slang, like I don't talk about like use slang words. I'm like I don't know what any of that shit means, but you get the gist. But yeah, I really really love this game. It is one of the more enjoyable games I played this year for sure. Like I said, it's hard to top with these kind of games because they're so story heavy in
Right.
this. But like if there's no gameplay really in this, it's just like you're just along for the ride. But I loved it. It flowed super well. It was awesome. The other game I played, I've only played a couple hours of it today. Um, but I played Death's Door. Came out on Tuesday. I didn't get a chance to play it until today. I wanted to beat Last Stop because I figured that's a shorter game and it doesn't require a lot to get through it. So Death's Door is it's the you play as a crow. It's kind of like a top down um, like Link to the Past, Dark Souls style game. Where like I said, top down, and like you play as a crow who's also like he's like a soul reaper, and like so like
Yes, pretty
he has to
much.
go collect souls, and well, the problem is though is like so oh, okay you get this job you got to do this you got to collect these souls, but when he's on a job he goes to these doors, so he ages until he like you beat these, you get the soul back, you get the soul, and you basically go and defeat them in battle, and you basically got to kill them to get that soul and finish the job. Something happens, somebody takes the soul from him, and now he's got to like do do all the shit to. He's got to like defeat these three different um, bosses in these areas uh, to finish the cycle. It seems like I'm still fairly early on, but the gameplay is awesome, fucking awesome.
Good.
It's very simplistic at the same time where like but it's a difficult game where like you don't have a lot of health and like you don't have healing items at least as of now, but there are like little pots you can like you find plants like little seeds along the way and you can put them in the you can whatever. So the plant comes up and you can heal there, but you can only heal once per life. But
Okay.
once you put the seed in, it's always there. But once you use it once in a life, it's gone until you die. And you come back, it's there. But usually, very rarely, they're around often enough. But sometimes the seeds are hard to find, so you don't want to just use them willy nilly. You want to save them sometimes because you might only go to this area once. Um, but like the kind of the main thing is like you have right now, you start off with like you have a sword and then you have a bow. And like your bow, you only have 4 shots. And the way to refill your ammo is you gotta hit enemies to refill. So you can't just like sit back and shoot arrows. You gotta like you can charge them to do more damage as well. And there are upgrades you can buy because like as you defeat enemies, you get souls, and you can use those souls to buy upgrades like whether it's more damage with your sword or you can move faster or your arrows do more damage and there's other items you can earn along the way or other projectiles you can earn or like I found daggers so like instead of using the sword I have a dagger it does less damage but I can do more swipes with the sword I can only do like 3 swipes and then like the daggers I can do 5 but like I said the dagger does a little bit less damage it's more about it's kind of like that Dark Souls esque kind of style where like you can't just fucking go balls to the wall. It's not like hacking and slashing. You gotta like kind of pick your shots, go in there and do a couple shots, get out. Do a couple shots, get out. Shoot, a lot of dodging, stuff like that. It's very Hyper Light Drifter, um,
Okay.
which is a game I mean, if you've listened to us for a while, I love. I was reminding Gables for the show. I have 4 copies of that game, and Gables told me he has 3 copies of the game and hasn't even played it. So that hurt my feelings. Um, but yeah, so far I'm enjoying the fuck out. The boss battles are awesome. Even like just fights with like random like the run of the mill enemies, when you like they can be pretty hectic, and like the cost of dying isn't super bad either. Like you don't lose your souls. It's not like Dark Souls where you die and you lose all your souls.
True.
You just go back to like a door, like a reset checkpoint. The only like most frustrating part is like you die and it's a decent amount. You might have to like the walk back is the biggest pain in the ass to get back to the fight, for the most part. But yeah, it's incredible so far. Like I said, only a few hours in, but definitely a game I'm gonna every minute I can I'm gonna go back to and play. That's what I'm playing. So it's funny. I didn't have any time at all to play during the week, and then this weekend's been pretty hot and brutal out. So I've been sitting inside doing nothing but playing games the last 2 days. So like I said, that's why I'm playing games. What have you been playing?
Okay, so a couple of different games. One I actually started off last night, and that was Chris Tales. Now, Chris Tales is a game that was announced quite a few months ago to where it looked like, and it definitely does play like an old school JRPG when in terms of the turn-based strategy sort of approach, where you get to choose commands, you get to choose certain skills to use against different opponents whatsoever. I've managed to put in like about roughly half an hour, but I can immediately tell the quality of this game. One, through its visual art style, it's pretty creative. At first, it kind of gives you the impression that it looks sort of similar to that of like say how Tumblr or certain like animations in that regards. It looks like it's not much at first, but when you see the layers upon the environment in terms of how much love and care was put into the environment of itself, and not just that, but the details in regards to each individual character you come across, it shows a great sense of visual. It says some visuals in general, in my personal opinion. On top of that, I felt the music so far is pretty nice. And one thing that shocked me the most is there's actually voice dialogue inside this game. So it's not more or less like you read a little like blurbs of text or something like that for a standard RPG. This actually has some voice acting having to deal with it. I haven't come across any instances to where that hasn't been the case. But even for like little things and it's like for like side characters and stuff, they're fully voice acted, which I thought that was pretty refreshing. In terms of like a lot of the gimmicks and stuff like that, the gimmicks actually are pretty interesting to where on screen you get to learn eventually throughout the story that you're a time mage, right? And so it's like you have this ability to where you can go jump between the past and the future in that regards. And the future will show you some possibilities of what may happen,
Mm.
but you can either change stuff in the present or in the past in order to affect the future
Oh, okay.
portions of it. So I love the concept of that. Case in point, I came across a puzzle early on to where this lady, this merchant, could not figure out which like bottles and stuff were like poison and which ones were recreational type of like stuff. And this was the shopkeep. So basically, you had to go inside the same town. You had to find these teenage boys that had these little labels and stuff. But in order to figure out which ones went to which bottle, you can actually hop to the past, right? And then as like the little frog companion or something that you have, and you'll notice, oh, okay, so these labels go with this bottle or that bottle. And so when you jump back, you can actually go ask those kids and stuff for the labels, give it back to the shopkeep, and she goes through with like the different stuff and that pretty much finished up that little side quest. From that instance, I had that sort of like idea where it's like, well, if they're introducing like kind of near complex things like that early on, I mean that thing sounds fairly interesting and fairly fresh in my honest opinion. Because you have the standard like fetch quests or the standard like, oh, you got to defeat this monster out of like out in the open and stuff in the open world or whatsoever. But at least so far, when it comes to the side quests, this seems fairly straightforward, if not like a little bit more involved in stuff than I would have thought so far. But combat's the combat is pretty fun. You It's basically like what I was saying before, a standard turn-based strategy. You pick your attacks, pick your skills to attack opponents. when they introduce the combat, they do that first and foremost to where you play as the girl. Her name is Chris Bell and stuff, and then eventually you'll meet a boy and stuff that's called Christopher. So it's like these two have like these different abilities and stuff, but they throw you in the middle of like a battle, right? And like the first thing you get is like a pincer attack sort of thing with two enemies on one side and the other, and like one enemy on one side, one enemy on the other and stuff, and you have to go and select attacks based upon. It looks like it was based from what the impression was. It looked like it was based upon like the different directions, like up, down, left, or right. And it honestly, I'm still trying to understand a little bit of the combat. I haven't done any other combat since the opening introduction. So I'm looking forward to testing out some of this stuff and see what type of things I can do inside this game's limitations. But so far, it's leaving a good impression. Chris Bell, you can play this game on Game Pass if you want to give it a go. It's also available on other platforms like Switch, PS4, and stuff. Those ones I think is like $20. I think it is for that game in and of itself. But Game Pass, if you have that, you can download it playing on there. Okay, with that being said, going from a fairly straightforward, kind of like a simple to understand JRPG inspired game to a classic game with Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden, I'm still adamant in terms of wanting to beat that game without using save states. So my general concept is this: I go all the way. If I lose all my lives, I'll still continue on. It's basically like an endurance run, almost like an Iron Man kind of run, to where I give myself a specific amount of lives and stuff, so a specific amount of times in order for me, like how I feel, and then go ahead and continue on. The farthest I've gotten is 6-2, which is not that far away from the end of the game. You basically have 6.6-3, then you have three boss battles after that. But last night, because my power outage and stuff, the only thing I could really play was my Switch. That was modern. And so I fired up the NES app, which once a week they do their little online checks and stuff. So I was well underway with that. Played some Ninja Gaiden on. I'm sorry, I have to laugh. My little dog finally just like passes out of sleep on the floor out of his cage. But little shit.
He nearly
Anyway,
died. He's had a rough night.
but from last night's run, I what I ended up doing is getting to maybe 5-2. 5-1 was very difficult for me at first because I go to this almost like this cave stage, right, and then I come across these specific enemies that look like freaking wrapped like mummies and stuff, but they throw these freaking sickles from like back and forth and stuff, and it's fairly quick too. So you have to either have a sub weapon in order to defeat, like destroy that thing, or you dodge it, destroy the enemy, move back on and stuff. But what I'm understanding about my play style is I am patient towards the early portion of the game and stuff when I'm more familiarized. Like for example, stage one. I go through the stage one. I can do that fairly frequently without taking any damage. Stage two, I always die in stage two because there's the last half of that level and stuff. You have a particular enemy type that is on a skinny platform, right? So let's say the platform's the size of the top of my hand, and you have this enemy that'll throw these projectiles, right, like at an arc angle. And so you're trying to jump and try to hit this enemy in the air before landing on the platform and stuff. And sometimes I'll overdo it to where I'll go and I bump into the enemy, throw the projectile and get knocked back. Sometimes I'll get knocked back inside of a death pit, or sometimes I completely miss it and the enemy's maybe like moving backwards a little bit, and oftentimes I have to move back a previous little half an inch or something in order for it to respawn, so that way I can do it at a better angle or something like that in regards to attacking it. It's it's quintessentially dealing with the respawn rates of enemies inside this game that tends to be the most difficult. It's not so much the platforming, because I can go through the game consistently, nail particular platforms, but because I fail to time certain enemy respawns correctly, it just jumbles you up. It jumbled me up quite a few times in my run last night. I finally had to end it after about my I want to say my 10th attempt in regards to do this one stage, and it was a pain in the ass because 5-2, it's like it's a little bit more than that and stuff. I had to end it because when I'm getting up till about like a stage or two before getting stage five's boss. I had to deal with these freaking ninjas that are like flying overhead, like they look like they have little helicopters. They're flying across the stage, and they're just throwing these shuriken. And the thing about it is, they'll respawn at like random intervals to where if you even move back a previous spot, sometimes they'll respawn quicker. But I end up facing the boss at stage five once, and that's Malith. And Malith is really a pain in the ass too if you don't know what you're doing. The thing about Malith is I end up having to do like a bum rush thing to where I'm just attacking him repeatedly because he'll do a lot more damage to you if you hesitate as opposed to you just going all in and doing aggro attacks. So for Malith, there's actually a little thing where you can jump on the pole that's like right near the end of his like stage, his like this particular portion of this environment, right? You jump on top of that. Sometimes you can dodge his lightning attack or whatsoever. But yeah, I was only able to get to him once and I died. But yeah, that has been my latest Ninja Gaiden run. It's been a fairly interesting learning experience. I've taken a good solid 3 weeks or so off and on playing Ninja Gaiden, getting a little bit more familiar with it. Obviously, I've played this game years before. I mean, I had the game on NES at one time. I have it through the Wii's Virtual Console, and that's predominantly where I played that game.
Mm.
But playing on Switch right now and going through a lot of the old caveats and remembering how to dodge these freaking birds that are dive bombing you, or how to get past certain enemies that'll do arc projectiles, or learning the timing of when enemies will respawn so you can dodge them. I'll give Tecmo credit from way back when. They knew how to manage the difficulty to such an extent that you would be playing this game for a long time.
This
It,
this reminds me of me trying to be Beavis and Butthead in Super Nintendo back in the day.
oh my god, Beavis and Butthead Super Nintendo. Yeah, try Beavis and Butthead on Sega Genesis. Oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, that wasn't a walk in the park either. I mean, that was boring and repetitive some points, but hey, at least that sequence of stuff where you're being chased by an obese old man in his underwear or something like that, trying to jump on your Segway and crush you to death.
Jesus, describe my 20s.
um, no fooling though. That is actual stage inside Beavis and Butthead for the Sega Genesis. So I would highly recommend the listeners watch this on YouTube. You will definitely have a good laugh, especially the death scene because it's
Mm.
so hilarious. But the last game I want to mention, and it's a continuation of a game I played last week. I played more Skyward Sword HD remake. I'm past the first dungeon. I got a chance to fight off against Garahim again. What's interesting about him is his attacks his attacks are fairly straightforward to understand. I mean, he'll do his slice patterns like horizontally or vertically or like even like diagonally or in this regards. And from the way he structures his hand, like for his placement of his hand, you go to the opposite of that because if you try to willy nilly do the slashing with like the motion controls or the right analog stick, he'll catch your sword, or he'll go and like do like this fast quick draw sort of attack to where he'll do like a forward slash and try to get you that way. What this first battle taught me was being patient in regards to how I read bosses, because instead of a normal Zelda game, I would want to go in and get as many hits off as quick as possible, but it's requiring me to get used to recognizing patterns of what the enemy will try to do. So, for a case in point, I finally was able to whittle him down to an extent to where I got past the first dungeon, but it didn't have any type of health bar or anything that would tell me how close I was with to beating him. I mean, that was annoying, in my honest opinion. That aspect was annoying. Not more or less the boss battle itself, but not knowing how many more attacks I could do so I can structure myself on the fly so I can continue on doing that stuff. Heart containers, I believe I'm around 6, 7, I want to say. I have found enough heart containers to complete my heart pieces to create one heart container. All the other ones I've either gotten through that dungeon or had previously. I am liking some bit of the side quests a bit more. There was one where I had to help a sick loft wing because, like, you meet these two NPCs. One of them's called like Pero, I think his name is, and he has a sister that took her sparrow to try to go to this specific floating isle called Fun Fun Island or something like that, or Fun Fun Land. Basically, it's sort of like a mini game sort of extravaganza place. I
Like a
haven't delved.
carnival.
It's like a little carnival, right? But it looks like almost like a giant target or something on top of this floating land. I haven't gotten too far into that aspect of Skyward Sword, but anyway, the side quest was fairly straightforward. Go to and from where she's at and stuff like that. Get the medicine from her brother and blah blah blah, and then give the medicine to Zap. And the brother's like, "Okay, you can keep the bottle." I'm like, "Okay, this is like my third empty bottle. I'm keeping this shit."
Nice. I got more empty
It's just,
bottles and heart containers. Awesome.
yes, yes. So it's like at this point I have three bottles. I'm actually I'm actually kind of surprised I got three empty bottles so far. And normal Zelda games, yeah, since like the Link to the Past and stuff, you could hold like maybe 4 to 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those side missions are fairly straightforward. There is this one enemy that when you're doing a specific mission, when you're doing like a specific mission at night, these cat-like creatures, right, which are very docile and very friendly during the day, at night they'll attack you,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
they're like fairly like reminiscent to old house cats, right? I mean, you come across a side mission early on in the game where you get to help like find the mayor's like animal, right? And so, okay, this is nice, this is cute, and then all of a sudden you see them sleeping around town. You go up to one of them and stuff, and all of a sudden they turn feral fairly quick. They want to attack you, and so you have either two choices: either run away from it or try to attack them yourself. And yes, I have attacked them, and it has stopped them. You can't kill them, but you could stop them from attacking you. Basically, they're being a dick to you, so that gives you every more reason or something like that to say, "Hey, stop it." But I'm at the second portion of this journey to where I'm at this volcano. I'm at this volcano like island, quintessentially, and so I have come across these different types of characters and stuff, which are kind of like mole people, right? That's how I'm generally. That's what I'm calling them because I can't remember their actual names for the type of characters. But you get these digging claws, right? And you can actually go inside this temple and use these digging claws to like dig up things like materials that you need to collect as resources or rupees, or there'll be a special couple to where they'll actually have like a bunch of air blowing out and stuff, and you can use that alongside your sail and stuff, your like a parachute, and just launch up to another platform. I like that concept. I thought that was fairly interesting that they have like these mole claws or something for you just to dig through. But there's this one enemy type in this area which I found to be a pain in the ass, and this one is like a bug, right? But this bug will shoot fire. It'll go underneath like certain rocks, and so there was this one portion of this temple to where I was in like with six of these towers, right? Or six of these like pillars inside this one room. And all these bugs are hidden inside the crevices of like these pillars. And so if you go a specific way, you'll see like a little wall of fire on the ground, right? A miniature one. And so how you defeat them, you have to pick up the bomb flower. You have to not only try to beat the timer of the bomb that you're holding, but you have to somehow set it up to where you can actually roll the bomb underneath in order to destroy these insects. It took me quite a few attempts, I got to admit, before I actually had a chance to use it correctly. I like the mechanic though. I mean, it's
Mm.
it's cool that you can either do a lob with a bomb or actually you can roll it down and stuff. That's how I was able to come across and solve a couple different puzzles, was because I actually rolled a bomb down like a sand, like the sand hill, like a sandy hill and stuff, and I was able to destroy a wall and stuff to get like a couple bits of resources that I needed. At this current time, I needed to find, I feel like, yeah, I still need to find one more piece in order to unlock the boss door. That's what I think it is. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because previously I had a different type of thing I had to do in the first temple, to where I was have to find a symbol, and then I had to plug into this wall so I could get into the boss room. It's sort of like their equivalent of a boss key, only it's a little bit more involved than that because you'll have to turn the key or turn the symbol in like a different types of directions in order to fit it. Like for the first temple, you basically have to arrange it so it looks like a chair, and so you
Hmm.
could just insert the thing in. But that's where I left off. I haven't played Skyward Sword since earlier on last week, but from what I've played, I have been impressed with the gimmicks in regards to the different items. The overworld is actually much more interesting than I gave it credit for. I mean, granted, I've played about 9 hours of this like HD remastered version. I have enjoyed it more than when I tried to play this game on the Wii originally, but that's more or less because back at that time when I had Skyward Sword and was playing on the Wii, I had a couple different games I was heavily involved with on the PS3. Thinking back around 2011, there were quite a big number of big name games, likely like Uncharted 2 or something like that I was trying to play at the time. So those
Yeah.
games back then held took my attention away from Skyward Sword, but I feel like with playing Skyward Sword HD Remaster now, I feel like I'm getting the best of this game now 10 years later as opposed to having to endure a lot of the slog and a lot of the unnecessary shit back from the original release. But what I am saying is like I'm more compelled now to play it some more than I was say 10 years ago.
That's good. Glad to hear that. Very
So
good, man.
that's it for me for this week.
Well, very nice. I'm glad you like that one more though. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this, we're everywhere. We stream this live usually on Saturday nights. Obviously, we're doing this on Sunday because of you know uh, technical issues that happens. Um, but normally on Saturday nights. But if you can't watch us live on twitch.tv/DrunkNerds podcast, always just watch us on. We can always post it immediately afterwards on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and look for us at Drunk-Nerds, Drunk Nerds podcast. Pop right up. Subscribe, like the bell, follow. And for podcasts, anywhere pods are cast, we're on it. So just go there. Wherever you listen to podcasts at, just follow us, please. Give us a rating, a comment, share, 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever you can do to help us out. We really would appreciate it. Um, yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening. I was host, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast. I gotta say, dealing with the dog tonight, and then having his whole rigmaroles of wanting so much attention like a little baby, and then him doing his little kamikaze act in disgust
Mm.
of the Nintendo Switch Online games. Yes, yes, he literally front flipped in disgust. But what I wanted to let you guys know, I am still I am still in the midst of creating the whole situation for me playing through Night Trap. I mean, that is definitely something I've been waiting for a sale on the PS4 so I can go
You
through.
should have bought it when it
And
was 750, buddy.
I know, and you know what? It's on sale on the Switch right now for like $5.99, and then
Oh,
but I want it on the PS4 so I can stream it. So this may actually end up becoming an Extra Life game
there you
before
go.
I even know it. So I want to let you guys know that I will be streaming. I will be getting back into streaming fairly soon. I still want to make a little benchmark thing to where I want to schedule each time of the week, like a specific day of the week, mind you. But yeah, I'm still planning out a little bit of logistics and stuff from that. So I'm gonna be streaming through the PS5. The games I'll be playing is random, but yes, please look forward to that. And if you want to check out some of my past content, which really isn't too much, a lot of it is pretty old, but it is twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. So definitely give me a follow on there. But, anyways, this has been another podcast. So, thank you very much for listening to another fun filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Thank you, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
See you, sweet man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.